Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of my Blender tutorials. And today we'll be using Blender 2.70 Alpha, and I'm going to show you how to make a beer bottle from scratch. I'm going to keep this kind of short, but in the future I also want to show you how to put a label on this bottle. So we'll go into that on a second video. But anyway, for now, I'm just going to show you how to make a a beer bottle from scratch without you don't really need a background image, and we'll demonstrate that here. So anyway, to start, I'm going to temporarily turn off, or make them turn them off, make them unthese where you can't select them. Turn off the camera and the point light, because we really don't need it right now. And we're going to hit Shift A, and we're going to add a UV sphere right there in the center. And then we're going to go to our edge select mode. We hit A to deselect, and we're going to use the B select, and we're going to delete these bottom faces. And of course, you want to have your see-through modifier on, so you can make sure we get them all. So it only gets half. So we'll go back and redo this, and now we'll see. Okay, all of them are selected. Okay, back to the front ortho view. So just hit delete and delete the faces. And then we're going to squash this down a little bit. Like so. Alright, go back into edit mode. And then we're going to select some of these faces up here on the top here. We'll tell you what we could do, which might even be better. We'll add a edge loop right down here. And we'll put it right between these two there. And then we go back out, and we'll select that right there and delete those faces. So we're going to back out a little bit here, and first we're going to choose this top edge loop right here. Back up a little bit, and we're going to extrude this along the z-axis. Say it about here. Well, maybe just a little further. Just a little bit more, like so. And then we're going to scale that down. Now, I'm going to hit A again and deselect all. Then I'm going to take this bottom edge loop right here. I'm going to extrude this down and back up and see what we got so far. Starting to look like a bottle to me. Alright. So, I want to close the bottom of this bottle off. I'm going to temporarily turn off the see-through effect. And we'll hit E and right click and just hit S. I want to fill this bottom up. The reason I do this is once you apply your surface subdivision modifier, if you don't have this closed off with an additional edge loop, you have to do it within the subsurface modifier. So this saves you a little bit of time. Now we hit Control R. We're going to put a few more edge rings in here. That should be enough. And then we want to go to the face select mode, and I want to select that center face. Hit Alt M and make it a triangle fan, as they call it. And you'll see why we do that as I move along here. Right now we're going to go back to edge loop mode for a minute. So I want to add a little few, kind of scratch out some details here for this bottle. And, select this top edge loop, hit Control R, and move this. Have to do it like this. Zoom out a little bit. Move this edge loop right about there. And then what we want to do. We'll just kind of rough out the top of the bottle. Might want to move it down just a little bit. Control R and get an edge loop right through the middle, and then pull it in a little bit, and then hit Control R again, and get another edge loop here, and then right here, select this edge loop, and pull it out just a little bit. Or pull it in a little bit like so. And then what I want to do is take this edge loop, bring it up, Control R, we're going to add another one. Oh, to zoom out here. Zoom out so I can see it. And bring it right about here. Scale it in just a little bit. Alright, so that's going to get us started here. A to deselect. What I like to do here is kind of start here, select this edge loop down here, and then Control B so we can get a bevel on this. It'll kind of smooth out the transition between the neck and the hemispherical part of the bottle. And you can add a few segments over here at 3. I'm going to deselect that, and then we're going to add a little detail up here. Might want to pull this down just a tad. Maybe pull this one up before we start here. Now I'll select this edge loop right here, Control B, and it will carry out pretty much the same operation. So you can adjust that right there. You see it's got what, 3 segments in it, I guess. And then you can just hit Alt on this one, Control B, and add a little little detail there. And then for this part, Control B, and maybe pull it in just a tad. I like that. Maybe pull this top out just a little bit too. So there you go. Now, so we'll do one more little thing here. We'll pull this up a little bit. All right, and then maybe scale it in just a little bit, like so. Now, starting to shape up. Now we're starting to get something look like a bottle here. And for the bottom, it's always a little bit curved. So we'll do the Control B thing here too. Like so. Alright. Now, you also notice a lot of beer bottles are kind of, the center is kind of ducked in. So we're going to go to the vertex select mode. And then you can go Control plus. And what you can do here is you go back to 1. You want to see through your wireframe here. I want to pull this up a little bit, but we're going to need the proportional editing. And we're going to zoom out a little bit, because once you hit G to move it up along the Z-axis, you don't want the proportional editing to have that much influence. So we're going to try that. There you go. So that's going to leave our bottle. Hit A to deselect. Now we go to our solid mode, so we got our bottle pulled in a little bit. And if you just want to, you can select this edge loop and maybe add a little smoothing with the bevel there. And now you got a nice rounded edge on there. Alright, so now we're moving along. We've got a good looking bottle here. And what I want to do next is I want to do the Solidify Modifier. And what I'm going to do, we'll just add that. If you hold down the Shift key, and when you're scrolling to the thickness, you get a little bit more control over your thickness. So I'm going to go for, say, like 340. And, oops, let me go back here. Undo this. I'm going to do this with an object mode. So we hit Tab to go to object mode. And now, do our Solidify. Hold down the Shift key and drag your mouse. And that 366 looks okay. But what I want to do, I want to go ahead and apply this. And you'll see why. Because in the, oh, looks like I got some, looks like I've, uh-oh. I've got something wrong here with the geometry. Let me look at this from the top. Looks like I got a vertex. It's a little bit out of place. Yeah, see, I got a vertex that's a little bit out of place. I don't know what I did. Well, that's going to be a little bit out of place. I don't know. I might not have selected everything at some point. Can't seem to back it up. Let's see if we can pull it in. Oh, okay, we've got to turn off proportional editing. Yeah, this doesn't look quite right. Okay, I'm going to see if I can back this up. Well, I'm going to have to ignore that because I can't seem to back up far enough to get rid of this. This is really driving me nuts. Let's see if I can fix it some kind of way. Pretty sure I can pull this in. Oop. Turn off the proportional editing. Okay, that looks okay. Okay, we're gonna have a slight defect in our bottle, but anyway, let's continue. So I'm gonna go over to object mode. We're gonna apply the Solidify Modifier, and I'm gonna get it out to about. And we're gonna go with 280. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. And then we're going to go into edit mode here. And piece of styrofoam fell off the top of my desk. So we're going to go into edge mode here. We're going to select this edge. And we're going to put a little bevel on that. Kind of smooth it out. It's like, you know, you wouldn't want to cut your lip while you're drinking your beer. So I'm going to do the same here too. Alright, so bottle's really shaping up there. Going to object mode. So we got our bottle pretty much together. Although we do have this little defect here, which I wasn't able to quite fix, but I guess you have to be careful when you're doing your selections. I think I might have not selected a whole ring or something like that, but we're going to let that go at that. So anyway, we'll set up a floor real quick for you and some lighting. I'll show you a couple of other techniques I've put together for this, and we're going to put a plane down here. Shift A, plane. Drag this out. Object mode. Like so. And we'll put a checker material on it. Yeah, I'd like to go up to about 30 with mine. And I want a back wall, so I can just Shift D to duplicate that plane, and then do the RX 90 degrees and get kind of an oblique view here and pull this plane back. Maybe pull it up a bit, Maybe scoot our beer bottle back just a tad. Maybe even scale our beer bottle up. What the heck? And we can go here, set it right down on our floor. Also, what I want to do here is I want to add an empty, and I'll show you a little lighting technique I put together. We're going to add an empty here. And we're going to put that empty right about there. Alright, now we're going to view our light that we had earlier. It's not quite sitting where we want. And we're going to move that over a little bit. Oh, I've got to make it selectable. There we go. There we go. Now, GX. Get this over a little ways. I'm going to turn this into an area light. We go to our top view. Shift D to duplicate that light. Make another one over here. Let me back up a little bit. I want to constrain that to the x-axis. And then Shift D. And bring another one down here. And I'll put it in front. And we're going to turn our camera on once again. So what you can do with certain things in Blender is, especially, there's a command called link object data. So I'm going to select all three of these lights, and then I'm going to go Control L and select the object data. So what that means is, if I resize one light, it'll resize all three of them. That's pretty handy. Now you can also, what I want to do with this empty is I want to add a constraint to our lights, and I think I can only do it one at a time, so but I'll show you how to do that. Track 2, and what you have to do here, it has to be Y and minus Z, and we track to the empty, so it shines right on an empty, which is just a little bit in front of the beer bottle. And then you can do the other lights as well. Let's see. Can I copy a constraint? Let's see. Well, I guess I can't. So we're going to link to the empty. I guess if I did Shift D, I might be able to do it. Not sure about that. I'll have to look into that. And do the same thing here with the other light. So now we've got our lights shining on this empty. Will give us a little indirect or direct illumination on the beer bottle. Now also, since the object data is linked and these three lights, what else you can do is you can, let's go to our camera view real quick. And I'm going to change this to, I'm going to turn this around to 1080 by 1920. And then we're going to move our camera view a little bit. And I'm going to change the material. Of course, it's always a good idea to name your objects as you we'll call this beer bottle. Like so. And I'm going to add a material to it. We're going to make that glass. Make this a little bit brown. Let's see how this looks. So we need to get our lighting up. And as I was saying, since you got all these linked by object data, turn those lights right on up. I'm going to say 1500 for the strength. Maybe we'll go with 3000. Let's go with 5000. Get it nice and bright. So we got some good illumination. Of course, you can always add more lights. Now with this material, you can go into HSV, turn this value up, and you can get this bottle just a little bit clearer. So that's pretty much. Oh, one more thing before I get out of here. I'm going to put a subsurf modifier on the bottle. And we're going to go up to about 3. And now, you want to make sure you also turn on smooth shading. And now you should have a nice smooth looking beer bottle. And there you go. Now I'm going to do a follow-up video in the future. I'm going to show you how to put a label on this beer bottle, but that would probably be just as long as this video, or a little bit longer. There's a lot of details to work out there. But anyway, so also one more thing before I go. This is handy. You should always save your files. So we're going to just save this to the we're going to create a new directory here in Blender Images, which is one of my default directories. All this beer bottle tutorial file, because I've already got another directory with the same name. So beer bottle tutorial file, and we'll just call this beer bottle 5. And one thing I wanted to show you, let's go ahead and save this. Let's say you're working along here and you want to change the color, so you change it to green. Okay, so now you got kind of a greenish looking beer bottle. Okay, so that's fine. But what you want to do is, maybe you want to save this as another version, and I'll show you this trick. When you go to save as, you hit this little plus button and it will index. In this case, it's going to call it beer bottle 6. So now you got beer bottle 6. Let me check my work here. So beer bottle 6 is the green one. Okay. But let's go and open beer bottle 5. Now that's the brown one. Okay. So we'll go back and open 6 again, which is a green beer bottle, as we see here. But now you change your mind again and you want to make another modification. So you can back out. Let's say we want to duplicate this beer bottle and make 2 of them, like so. So what you can do is save as, hit this little plus sign, and it will index it and make one called beer bottle 7. So anyway, that's you know, as you're changing your mind and you don't want to, you made a modification but you want to keep it, you can index your say your files in such a way as you have more than one version of the file you started with. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and that's it for now. I'm out of here, and of course I'm going to try to do a follow-up video